Following the coup in Niger and the threat of military intervention if they don't quickly relinquish power, the threat is no longer a matter of if, but a matter of when. This is because Nigerian troops are now stationed near Niger to enforce a no-fly zone over Niger. Why is Tinubu bent on military intervention in Niger? Let's see 4 main reasons why he is doing it. Number 1. Out of the 4 reasons, this one might be the major motivation to invade Niger. When the country is at war and Tinubu is still fighting for legitimacy, which might still take a few months to resolve, going to war will trigger Section 135 subsection 3 of the 1999 Constitution, which will make him stay in power for up to 4 years. It says, if the Federation is at war in which the territory of Nigeria is physically involved and the President considers that it is not practicable to hold elections, the National Assembly may by resolution extend the period of 4 years mentioned in subsection 2 of this section from time to time, but no such extension shall exceed a period of 6 months at any one time. Many people are not paying attention. These people are desperate. They can go to great lengths to stay in power. The military intervention that is already underway with the deployment of Nigerian troops near the northern border with Niger to enforce a no-fly zone. This is an act of war. But that's not the first. The first one happened when he authorized the disconnection of electricity supply to Niger. Yes, this action is also an act of war. Despite the treaty that Nigeria signed with Niger in the 60s on the use of waterways and River Niger, and the fact that 70% of their electricity supply comes from Nigeria, you know what it means for a country to pull out of a treaty without warning. It means that country can't be trusted to abide by agreements and treaties. Although he doesn't have the power to initiate war with another country without the express approval of the National Assembly, he has already taken actions to that effect. Many might argue that boots are not yet on the ground and he doesn't need any approval from National Assembly to move troops within the country. The truth is that in order to enforce a no-fly zone over Niger, the Air Force will need to intercept aircrafts in the air within their airspace, which might result in their firing a weapon. What if someone gets hurt and they retaliate? There are more than 300 Nigerians in IDP camps in Niger Republic. Instead of finding ways to resettle these people back to their homes in Nigeria, they are actively trying to wage war in a country that is hosting 300,000 Nigerian citizens. How about solving the problems that push these Nigerians to run to Niger Republic in the first place? You can't solve your security challenges, but you want to go and fight in another man's country. Even in Abuja, the seat of power, there are people living in IDP camps. They can't resettle them to their homes, but they want to go on an adventure in another man's land. There's no single benefit for Nigeria in this their adventure. Instead, we are losing money. We don't even have the money for this kind of experiment. Nigeria is simply broke. Look at the effect of the border closure. Long lines of trucks and coaches that will normally bring revenue to customs. Niger is a poor country. Sanctioning them will impoverish their people more. Besides, many of them support the military that took over power. Look at this banner, Abat la France, which means down with France in English. So why are they crying more than the bereaved? Why the focus on Niger? This kind of attention, Mali, Burkina, didn't receive them when the military took over power there. Are they aware that Russia is backing some of them? Although the Russians have denied backing Niger or even interested in what is going on, we know their antecedents. We shouldn't take their statements seriously. When they deny something, the next day they do the complete opposite. Remember what they said before the invasion of Ukraine, only to invade them a few days later. There's a reason Mali, Burkina, and Guinea have all declared support for Niger, and they are willing to put boots on the ground in case there's military intervention in Niger. Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso recently met Putin in Russia. No one knows what they discussed. Burkina and Mali have all dropped French as their official language, so there's serious resentment by their citizens against France. There's presence of Russians in Mali. Traore even eulogized Putin. that they can buy whatever they want from Russia, unlike the West that gives conditions and in some cases, they won't even sell to you.
Ils ne refusent rien. En fait, tout ce qu'on veut acheter, la Russie accepte nous vendre parce que c'est pas le cas avec d'autres pays.
I mentioned the Trans-Saharan pipeline to pipe our gas to Europe. Why should we leave Russia to do the whole thing? And
this brings us to the next reason Tinubu wants to invade Niger. Yes, for economic reasons, the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline moving gas from Nigeria through Niger, Algeria, and crossing the Mediterranean to Europe will bring Nigeria's gas to Europe. But at the Nigerian military against it, they will earn money if the pipelines passes through their country. The entire region is very volatile. Very few investors will take the risk to lay gas pipelines across the restive region. That's why Morocco proposed an alternative route to Nigeria. Besides, whichever route they take to bring the gas to Europe, Russians don't like competition. The major reason they invaded Ukraine was because the huge gas reserves off the Ukrainian coast was about to be mined by oil and gas conglomerates. With the situation on ground there, no mining can take place for now. Russia, having been cut off from supplying gas to Europe, they won't allow Ukraine to do that either. Coming back to Nigeria and looking at the economic situation on ground, Nigerians urgently need more gas pipelines spread across many cities as alternative to petrol. Whether it's CNG, LNG, we need them now to sustain our economy instead of selling gas to other people. So instead of wasting money in the guise of restoring democracy in another country, why not use the money to better the lives of Nigerians who own the money in the first place? We need serious